Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our video interviews. Today, I'm very happy to be here with Gallahika, that since March is engaged remotely on our project in Pakistan, in charge with supporting the institution to improve the key urban sectors such as waste management, sanitation, and water. So, Gallahika, hi. Thank you for being here with us today.
Pleasure.
Okay. So, Gallahika, first of all, would you like to tell us something more about you? Few words about your background, and especially why have you decided to apply for this traineeship with the IBF Foundation?
So happy to be here for starters. Thank you for the interview. So basically I'm studying economics and specializing in development economics. So anything related to the development of low-income countries, that sort of thing, etc. And my interest came from the fact that I grew up and was raised in Haiti. So that was given to me, basically how to help countries reach their best potential. And then I was looking for an internship, and I definitely stumbled upon the IBF Foundation, and you guys were centered on development, and that's basically my area of interest. And I browsed a little bit through the projects, and I looked at what you had to offer. It was a very, very diverse, very interesting range of projects, but the ones that definitely interested me the most was the one with Pakistan, because I'd be working on, urban indicators and addressing social inequalities, like you said, with access to services such as water, waste management, sanitation, electricity also, etc. And I felt like this project could be very beneficial to me, very educational, very formative, and I was happy to get the position, basically, and it's been great so far.
Oh, that's great. And I also, when we had our first interview, I immediately realized that you could be a good profile
Yes.
to
Yes, you did.
include in this traineeship. And regarding this, can you just tell us the most important activities that you are doing on the project? If you have a specific role, if you are autonomous, how does it work?
It's a little bit autonomous, which means I do a lot of independent work, but also I have to check in with my supervisor once in a while to let him know my struggles, to let him know how the progress that I'm making, basically. So like you said, I've been working on the socioeconomic indicators in the province of Punjab in Pakistan. So they were flagrant when I analyzed the data. I was working with a household survey from the 2019 year, basically for Pakistan, and there were flagrant inequalities in terms of access to certain services, especially between rural and urban households, whether it was inside a particular district or between districts. I think that's probably also related to population numbers. But there were a lot of inequalities, and basically I was in charge of deriving the socioeconomic indicators to showcase that inequality, basically. So I was responsible for managing the household survey data and deriving the indicators. I used, on a more technical side, I used RStudio. It's a programming software for statistical analysis, and I also wrote the code that will be passed on, I think, to the team and also the officials responsible for data management in Punjab for future analysis of socioeconomic indicators. Basically, it's totally adaptable and also very, very easy to use.
Wow, very
Also,
interesting.
yeah, it was great. Really, it was because I was used to RStudio, but I had never worked so thoroughly with it. So this was definitely a steep learning curve for me, definitely. And I've also been helping lately out with the training course that we will do. So it's good to have the code because we gave them the code, but it's also good to know what you are doing with it. It's not just, copy and pasting and having the results. You need to understand. So right now I'll be designing training modules starting next week for Jose, and basically these are going to go for the training course that we'll have with the officials in Pakistan.
Oh, that's very good. So you really leave an important contribution even at the end of
Yes,
your
I'm trying.
traineeship. That's very important. So listen, finally, the experience that you had working for a technical assistant project is in the way you imagined that it was or not?
Yes, definitely. And I'm also a little bit sad because, as you know, I was part-time, I wasn't full-time, and I feel like I could have contributed more. It would have been even more challenging if I had been full-time, but unfortunately it was just part-time for me. So it was very interesting because as you know, development is a wide field.
Yeah.
There's so many different areas. There's food security, there's water and sanitation, there is private sector development, and I was specifically working on inequalities. So this made me dive into academic literature. It made me stay on top of new developments in the field, etc. And also it's very intersectional. So even if you're working on inequalities, there's also a component of poverty behind it,
Yeah.
very intersectional, very cross-cutting issues. And particularly interesting for me right now was the fact that, well, sadly, there were floods in Pakistan, and then we were trying to incorporate that, in the training course, trying to reflect that for the officials to be able to adapt to those kind of situations and natural disasters. So overall, it's been very challenging, especially when you're trying to combine the more theoretical side of it all, analysis, economics, but also when you're trying to combine all of that with the realities of the people on the ground and their living conditions, etc.
Oh, that's very interesting. And listen, last questions, but not least, of course. Where do you see yourself in the future?
I'll definitely still in international development. That's my passion. It's what I want to do. I'm very interested in poverty alleviation, but also policy making. So I hope to continue to work on those issues, inequality, poverty, etc., and help government, but also international organizations in designing policies and their programming overall. So I don't really have a like job title in mind, but I'm thinking of the responsibilities, anything related to analysis, writing, projects, being on the field with people, doing monitoring and evaluation, that sort of work, basically being really involved in the projects that governments and agencies are implementing on the ground.
So maybe one day we will have you within our IBF International Consulting team.
I hope so, yes.
Working as a project manager directly on one of the projects. Why not?
That'd be great, yes.
So I really wish you all the best for your exams, your thesis, and your future career. Of course, we will stay in touch, and I'm glad to hear that this experience with our project in Pakistan has been an important experience for your personal and professional growth. So just stay in touch and let us know your next steps. Okay?
Yeah, Victor. Yes.
Thanks a lot. Thank to you. And for all of you, you can follow up on the Foundation Traineeship Program opportunities directly on our website, but also on our social media channels, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And you can always apply, sending your CV and cover letter to info@ibf-foundation.org. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Gallahika.
Thank you, Simona.
See you soon.